On today's DNVR Nuggets podcast, we're going to be talking about our hangover takes from last night's game, some updated thoughts on the rotation, and where does Christian Braun rank amongst the best shooting guards in the NBA? Maybe it's number one. All that more on DNVR Nuggets. One. Guys, come on, put on a smiley face here. Yeah. I think we're almost live. Killer, come on, guys. Oh, what is everybody? Welcome to the DNVR Nuggets Podcast. Let's go. Live from Studio B, we are presented by Bet365. Download the Bet365 app and use the code DNVR365 when you sign up. Choose your offer and find out why. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Live from Studio B, we got a little break in the system here. Tomorrow we are off. Miroslav will have a fantastic guest on Serbian Corner, so you'll want to tune in for that. And then hopefully on Friday, we get the big fella back. Hopefully.
Eric?
Oh. Dude, that was awesome. That was well timed. I got Harrison Wynn with me.
Fellas. Are the Nuggets back? I've been wondering this. Some are saying it. Some on the show have said it. I'm just kidding. I'm not going to do this whole thing.
Thank God. And then over there, Mustard Mike himself, Bird Vote.
You know, I really tried to tough it out, you know, as one of the people last night. I took the show off and I had to stream. Literally, I had to stream the game. And you know how we used to say, it's actually really easy, guys. It's not that easy. The stream is so bad now. I know. I tried so hard to watch that thing, but I did get some intermittent clips of Michael Porter Jr. playing well in the first half. That's in my notes.
Real question. Do you know how to use rabbit ears?
Do you know what rabbit ears are?
No, I don't.
Because the game was available to anybody with a television if you had rabbit ears.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah. Dude, I don't have rabbit ears.
What's so funny is anybody my age or younger has no idea even how to get those. And definitely does not have them.
Well, now I got the thing where my TV is mounted in a way that I used to know how to do it. It was very easy, but now I don't know on the new updated everything.
Yeah.
You know, so it's a little tough. I will say it does remind me, our mutual homie, Christian Clark, one time, I lent him a DVD, one of my favorite movies. He's like, bro, I don't have anything to play this on.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like,
nobody has DVD players anymore.
Do you have a DVD player?
I have video game systems, but I don't have a designated DVD player.
Kale, do you have a DVD player? No? You guys, I mean, why are vinyl records back but DVDs not? Talk amongst yourselves. Not the topic for today.
Everything does come back eventually.
Yeah, give it time.
DVD players actually probably will never be back.
Dude, I love going through my DVD collection. I've been watching some old classics lately, you know, throwing them on. By classics, I mean like Rushmore. I hadn't seen that one in a while. Watched Midnight in Paris. Some of the old hits, you know, the ones that lift my spirits.
I bought my wife a present. I bought her one of her favorite movies on DVD. You know, just like
it's a great gift.
Yeah,
it's
just like a little gift. And I had to buy a DVD player as well.
Yeah, I forgot about that part.
Yeah. I bought the movie, but then I was like, shit. All right, I got to buy the DVD player too.
What a life cycle for physical media, though. It was like you have it, and then only hoarders have it, and then it's come all the way back around to a pretty valuable thing to hang on to.
Yeah. Nuggets are 8-5. This is, I hope we have not heard an update on Nikola Jokic and whether he is going to be back on Friday. I think there's a good chance. We know he's in town, so
I've heard he's been at the arena working out.
So I think there's a good chance he rejoins the team on Friday, and thank God, because 14 days or whatever it is, I only ever want to do that in the off season.
Yeah, didn't like it?
I did not like it.
Yeah.
But the Nuggets, I didn't like it, but I also do because we do learn something about the team, you know, in this little 3-game stint. Some bad stuff we learned, but some good stuff as well. And you know, it'll be nice to see, like, when he comes back, does that reset and disrupt? We're going to talk about that a little bit later in the show. But that is an interesting question that now gives us some context for it. But before we get to that, as we always do, Kale, Let's get a hangover. Let's go to the hangover takes. We did not get either of you gentlemen on the show last night for the post game, but the Nuggets got a win. Coincidence? Some are saying not. So some are saying
people are doing a lot of talking.
A lot of people are talking. But the Nuggets grabbed a win.
Yeah.
Wind, what did you think of it?
Well, my biggest hangover take is, there was this notion out there, put out by a lot of Nuggets fans, put out probably by us in some capacity, that the Nuggets did not know how to play basketball without Nikola Jokic.
Well, first of all, it didn't come from nothing.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there was a lot of truth to it.
Yeah.
I stand by that one, actually.
Yeah, I stand by it a little too. They look like they do not know how to play the game of basketball at times when Nikola Jokic is not out there. And that kind of came to a head in both that Pelicans game and the first Grizzlies game. Yeah. And for good reason. But it was nice to see that, they actually can play something that resembles basketball without the 3-time MVP.
But don't you think that something resembling basketball was sort of deliberate? Because the Nuggets got 15 steals. They played in transition all night.
Yeah.
To me, I look at it and I go, that to me was a deliberate decision from the Nuggets.
Yeah.
That to me felt like the controllable factor in Jokic being out. So maybe Murray and Porter both give you 25-ish. It's rare. It happened. And that was nice. But what happened first was they got how many steals in the first quarter? 7?
Something like that.
And I just think, to me, it's great that they got that win. I stand by the idea that just fundamentally the offense really falls apart without Jokic, right?
The half-court offense.
The half-court offense. There's just not going to be a lot of good process. It's nice that there was some last night. I would think across a long enough timeline, we would be very exasperated with the offense regardless, as we were in the 2 prior games. But defense is a controllable factor. And I felt like those are the ways in which those 2 games, part of why they were particularly annoying. Yeah, the Nuggets fall off a cliff without Jokic, but they fell off a cliff in the controllable areas as well. And they finally ratcheted it up defensively in the intensity. And as some of the guys said before and after the game, the mentality of playing in a game without Jokic, yeah, look, offensively it's going to be an uphill climb, but maybe not rolling over on the other side of the floor. So I just like to see the Nuggets, again, my take doesn't change at all here. They're screwed without Jokic, but it was nice to see them take some ownership of the controllable factors that will still be there when Jokic comes back as well.
I disagree that they're screwed without Jokic. I mean, they are if he got left the team for a long period of time. But this idea that the non-Jokic minutes are inherently doomed, I think last night was a little bit of proof of concept of why that's not true. One of the metaphors I always use, in relation to sports, is chess boxing, especially with Jokic, because he's the ultimate chess boxer, and that it's very strategic. You have to be a chess player, but then every now and then the bell dings and you have to wrestle this 300-pound monster. Yeah. Well, I think the Nuggets as a whole can be thought of this. One thing that I think really works for across history in basketball with bench and starter identities is when they're so different that it's a complete change-up pitch. And I think there's something, too, especially in Denver. All right, you're going to play 9 straight minutes wrestling Jokic while also trying to figure out the X's and O's and rotations and everything. That takes a lot of mental energy. Sub him out, and what are we going to give you? Russell Westbrook, Peyton Watson, Christian Braun at full speed. Now you have to switch your brain off, turn your lungs on, and play at this incredible speed. And then, okay, Jokic's coming back in, gear down. If you can be the one that controls that tempo, especially at altitude, I feel like that's a great combo. Because Denver proven that they can do this one game. But at least you saw it and you're like, man, 15 steals. They looked really discombobulated by Denver's aggression. That, to me, is the part that's cultivate that, make it your identity in the non-Jokic minutes, and you're cooking with gas.
And it's 2 total extremes.
Very 2 extremes.
Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic, 2 of the more plodding players on the offensive end of the floor in the league. And then Russell Westbrook, who's the total opposite.
Yeah.
And that yin and yang creates a really cool dynamic, I feel like. The bench, the Nuggets non-Jokic minutes, their bench has always had a very different identity than the starters, obviously. And a lot of it has just been, per Michael Malone's words, all right, get a stop and run.
Yeah.
That's the bench. Get a stop and run. I don't think they've really devoted a lot of practice time to the bench offense, and that's shown. But, getting a stop and running with Russell Westbrook and Peyton Watson and Christian Braun, I don't think Dario Saric fits into that identity. But But running and getting a stop and running with those guys is a lot different. It's a real identity.
Yeah.
You know, what's interesting too is the emerging blending of identities. And then you mentioned Jamal as a plotting player. How about Russ and Jamal on the floor together? Which is another one of my hangover takes.
Yeah.
Shout out to our
one.
guys, Matt Brooks, our guy Matt Brooks of
Big Market Brooks.
DenverNuggets.com. At Matt Brooks NBA on Twitter. Russ and Murray are now up to a slightly positive net rating on the year together with Jokic off the floor.
Yep,
Russ and Murray at plus 0.4. It's about 164 possessions he has here. And his note, I am stealing it because it's a great one, and I did feel it. I did see it in
You're shouting him out.
In my glitchy stream last night. I had the same observation. Malone mentioned before the game, let's try to get Murray open more. Well, on ball, he's being trapped a ton. I only played him off ball a good amount, and a lot of it was Russ, and it allowed Murray to get some threes up, which is, I think, a nice, viable, kind of long-term path for Murray to get some easier scoring without kind of killing himself. And so that was really nice to see, man. Like, Russ and Murray are going to share the floor together at times with everyone back. And to see that get a little bit going, that was a nice takeaway.
I think there's something to that, man, because we've talked a lot. I even think part of the calculus in bringing Westbrook in here is, okay, when Murray is with the bench, he's not very aggressive for whatever reason. He just, he floats. So we need somebody that's hyper aggressive,
Right.
and who's more aggressive than Russell Westbrook. He's too aggressive sometimes on the offensive end, and maybe there's something to it, but I still think that it comes down to Jamal and his willingness to, like, be aggressive even if he's off ball. Like, when the ball swings to you, I mean, Murray, for the good things that we've seen, yesterday, still a couple record scratches that are like so indescribable. He got one in the corner that was wide open and didn't take it, took a dribble, and I can't remember what he did. I think he turned it over, and you're kind of like, who doesn't like wide open corner threes? It's the greatest thing in the world.
Weird.
But nonetheless, those were fewer than usual, and I do think there is something to, if the Russ-Murray combo works, to me, the bench can work. Because you just put guys around him that are just playing off of those guys, playing defense and playing off them, and that's the formula. So numbers showing there's a little traction.
Well, when the Nuggets rolled out that first bench lineup of the season, and it was Russ and Murray, and then three other bench guys. I think it was Saric, Watson, and
Is it Julian?
maybe Julian.
Yeah.
I was so pissed off that they rolled out that lineup. So I might have to eat a little crow on the Murray Russ pairing, because I was just totally out on playing Murray with the bench at all. But if they have the right guys in those other three spots,
Well, yeah.
that's the key.
Yeah.
Right? Like, Murray Russ, maybe it'll hit sometimes, maybe it'll miss. Maybe it comes out about even at the end of the season. It's really about those other three spots, and are those three spots filled by the right guys.
But that's so with part of the change of the rotation. I know it's been a little different the last couple of nights, but Porter going out first, there has been overlap of all three of those guys on the floor at the same time: Murray, Westbrook, and Porter. And so that's really nice. That's a different way of getting, like, at some point, Murray and Russ have to share the floor. So that's a much better way of going about.
Unless you play Trey Alexander.
Unless you play Trey Alexander. That's a much better way of going about it. So I think you were still right that the initial approach was off base, but credit to the staff for, I think, quickly adjusting.
Yeah. The other take I have, the other hangover I take, the last one really is, man, how good did they look, they being the Grizzlies, on Friday night? Or Sunday night, and how terrible did they look on Tuesday? And vice versa with Denver. How terrible did they look on Sunday? Because you watch Grizzlies, and I was very high on the Grizzlies for going into both games where I'm like, they kind of play well, even though they're down guys, they play hard. Denver, it's almost one of those things where when you have an undermanned team and they're playing hard, they can look good. But the moment you play harder, you took it away the one thing they had on you. Yeah. And that's what Tuesday's game looked like, is I was like, oh, they're losing the effort battle. And the skill battle falls in Denver's favor now.
And again, not claiming it was acceptable. I just color me shocked that after a 5-game win streak, when Malone, Jokic, and AG missed a game, they also got out efforted. I mean, again, you don't have to
beat the Pelicans, though.
No, I'm not
now
saying
you're in the cup final.
It's a bad loss. It's a bad loss. You don't have to accept it. But I wasn't shocked and appalled, man. I really wasn't. But Bruce Brown once I asked him, like, what is it that makes the quote unquote bad team so hard to beat in the NBA? And that's exactly what he said. On any given night, they're playing harder than you. And so those were. But that's, I think, why people were rightfully upset about the two games. Forget that, look, Jokic will come back eventually. But in the meantime, they just took their foot off the gas in terms of the effort stuff, the defense stuff. And as we said about Murray in a couple of examples, it's one thing to get outperformed by a role player, but you can't get out-hustled and outperformed by a role player. So there's just a little bit of making sure the hustle was there too. Again, I think everyone was right to be pissed off about those losses. It was cool to see them take ownership of the defensive side because that's what they control with Jokic or not.
What I'll really tell you, and then we got to go to break, but what I'll really tell you is I thought Jamal Murray had some really interesting quotes after the game last night, and this is courtesy of Tony Jones at The Athletic. Jamal Murray says, quote, "I take full accountability. It's not easy when you aren't playing well. It hasn't been easy with guys like Nikola and Aaron out. We were fully capable of winning these last games, but for me, I have to play better. I have to take account for that. It starts with me." He went on to say, "It's less about shot making and more about me being aggressive. The last few nights, it's been a different game. But the thing is, I have to take it upon myself to be better and not to put the blame on anyone else. I have to have a different mentality," he goes on, and all these different things. When Yoke's not playing, I have to have a different mentality. Look, man, with Jamal, that's a big step. That's a big step because that's exactly what we've been saying on the show. And for him to kind of be like, look, it's on me. I got to fix this. And then him having that game, it gives me hope that there's a vibe shift with Jamal. Let's take a break. On the other side, we're going to dive deep into the mailbag and talk about some other big picture stuff now as we get away from these last 3 games and start to look forward.
Guys, shout out to Toyota. Trucks have always been a part of Toyota's DNA. For generations, Toyota has built durable legends destined for greatness and perfect for Colorado. Really perfect for Colorado. I mean,
Picture perfect.
if you're in the mountains, if you're stuck in traffic on I-25, if you're rolling around a neighborhood, like Toyota has...
Trail Ridge Road. Were you going to drop a Trail Ridge Road?
I was
You're driving
thinking
over
about
it?
Yeah, I was thinking about it.
In a nice Tacoma kill. That's a vibe.
Yeah. Toyota, they got a vehicle for you. They offer 17 models with available all-wheel drive or four-wheel drive like the Epic 4Runner. They also offer more low and zero-emission vehicles combined than any other automaker. They got the Tundra iForce Max hybrid truck. They've also got SUVs like the RAV4, the Grand Highlander. So visit your Front Range Toyota stores at a location near you, AutoNation Toyota, Arapahoe, and Centennial, Corwin Toyota in Boulder, Groove Toyota in Littleton, Mountain States Toyota in Denver, Stevenson Toyota East in Aurora, Stevenson Toyota West in Lakewood. Toyota is a proud partner of the Denver Nuggets, the official vehicle of DNVR.
Bet365 is now an official partner of the Denver Nuggets and the Colorado Avalanche, and they are giving new customers in Colorado 2 months of Altitude Plus on them when you sign up. Again, that is 2 months of Altitude Plus on them when you sign up. It's the new convenient way to watch your Nuggets and your Avs, but how do you get it? Is it worth it? It's a little pricey.
You should sign up for this.
Sign up for Bet365 and take this offer they're trying to give you. It's awesome. And once you're signed up and you've joined Bet365, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. They don't believe it should be ordinary. So they're going to throw out lots of fun bonuses and early payout offers and DNVR custom bet boosts and all types of ways to just sort of boost the moment, to make sure it's never ordinary. So go ahead and download the app and use code DNVR365 when you sign up. As an official partner of the Denver Nuggets and the Colorado Avalanche, new customers now get $150 in bonus bets when you bet $5 and 2 months of Altitude Plus. Sign up, use the code DNVR365, deposit $10, and place a bet of $5 to get $150 in bonus bets and a code to get the first 2 months of Altitude Plus, courtesy of Bet365.
What a deal.
I'm an Altitude Plus subscriber.
I should say really quickly, you have to be 21 plus and physically located in Colorado. Please gamble responsibly. If you or somebody who has a gambling problem and wants help, call or text 1-800-GAMBLER.
Altitude Plus?
Yeah, I got it.
Testimonial? You didn't have the issues he was having last night?
Well, it doesn't sound like... Were you on Altitude Plus?
No, I was on...
That's what I thought.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Well,
that's what I said.
nice,
You
clean
should sign
stream.
up. Well, you're already signed up for Bet365, unfortunately.
By the way, clean up on a point I made that no one cares about at all. I was appalled by the effort, but I wasn't shocked by the effort.
There you go.
Important distinction.
Yeah, Altitude Plus. It's good.
Yeah.
It's very nice just being able to click an app and just have the Nuggets game right there.
Yeah, well, there you go. Let's hop into the mailbag, fella, shall we?
Let's do it.
Grab a little mailbag here. Our first question comes to us from Jay Burning. Is there a rotation that somehow has Saric playing with the starters but not the bench? His pace doesn't work with the new Chaos bench, but he does seem to be building something more with Murray. I'll throw it to you guys first. This is a tough one in my opinion.
Well, you would need to switch up Nikola Jokic's rotation.
Why? You can't just bring him, Saric, in?
Yeah, because Jokic plays pretty much the whole first quarter, and then start of the second quarter, it's the bench.
We talked about the idea that Aaron Gordon, when he comes back, can play backup center-ish kind of role.
So maybe Saric with Jokic.
At the 6-minute mark, Saric comes in and he plays 6 straight minutes with Jokic.
See, I just don't like Saric and Jokic together. That's kind of what I'm hung up on there.
I don't either.
Slow. Yeah, it's a little on the slow-footed
Defensively,
side.
Talk about
like-
plotting.
Yeah.
And it might score a lot, which obviously is great. Here's the thing, though. The Jokic minutes are the most precious thing in the Nuggets organization, in the Nuggets universe, the Jokic minutes. And while I would agree that I think Saric would be elevated playing next to Jokic, I think that is true of literally every human on earth.
Yes.
And so do you want to give him that? To me, my inclination is no. But here's what I'll say. I can't say play Zeke Naji, even though he's not good, and not say, why not? I do think Denver should experiment with different things, and I hope we do get minutes of that. I hope it's not right now, but I do hope we get minutes at some point because sometimes you're surprised by a combo.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I hope they experiment with it for sure. That's what we need to do in December, January, absolutely. Saric, he is not as bad as he played this season, and I cannot believe how bad he is.
I honestly think he has been one of the brightest spots of the last 3 games.
But I think we've stumbled on what I think everyone assumed was the case. Over the hill he may be, not quite as bad as he looked to open the year.
Dude, like half his shots are air balls.
But
I mean, actually.
Yeah.
But it's also very clear, like, what was the line of demarcation for when he started playing well in a different lineup with the starters, with more talent, in a different style of play. So I think the problem is, yes, Saric has looked more capable than initially, closer to what we thought he could be when he's with the starters. He's not going to be. He is going to be playing with the bench, and he's not a fit with Russ. So it's really, really hard to project this production continuing. We can at least say his confidence took a little boost.
Huge boost.
Well,
in my
it was
opinion.
at negative
Well,
10.
That's something.
Well,
That
one
is
of the
something.
reasons it was at negative is in his first 5 games, and again, he wasn't playing tons of minutes because the minutes were going bad and got yanked quick. But in his first 5 games, 0 for 3 from 3-point line. In 5 games,
And
3,
I think 2 of those were air balls.
maybe 2 of those are air balls, but 0 for 3. In his last 3 games, he is 5 of 14. The 5 of 14 is, first of all, a good mark. We're talking about, okay, now he's shooting it like, I don't know, that is 33, 34%. And that was, by the way, a 1 of 5 game against the Pelicans. So that was the getting right game, kind of. The last 2 of 5, 2 of 4. I look at it and I go, his 3-point shot is what determines whether he's going to be able to play for this team. Because there's not a lot of half court. I think he can actually play the transition game with them. It's not that he's going to be with the one on the break, but it's okay to have a trail 3. Like, it's all right to play fast, try to attack, and he's the last guy down the court, and then your offense naturally finds its way to him. He either shoots it or you're right into delay action where you go to the dribble handoff. So to me, conceptually, I don't think you have to split him from the run and gun style, even though he won't necessarily be a part of it. Rebounding is a concern, but again, rebounding over those first 4 games, 8 rebounds in 5 games, 8 rebounds. Last night, or the last 3 games, 8, 10, and 5.
Yep.
So to me, and again, minutes, he's playing 3 times the minutes, but he's getting 5 times the rebounds. To me, that's the thing, is there is an identity to be found. They clearly were not making any traction on that through the first 5 games, but maybe there is some clarity. And I think Saric is a smart guy. He looks at the team playing without him, and he goes, okay, where would I fit in here? And I think he's already starting to learn that a little bit.
I'm just relieved that he had some good moments last night because
I thought he had really good moments.
his confidence and his body language, especially like his body language on the bench in the first half last night, was about as bad as you'll see.
Last night on the bench?
Yeah, like first half. And I don't blame him because it just looks really frustrating out there for him. But
I think Michael Malone is a tough coach to be in the doghouse for. I think every coach is tough, but I think Michael Malone's probably especially tough. And I just think he probably had a tough first week. And Michael Malone had a good comment about it, about how he sat him down and was like, look, man, it's a long season.
well, Malone's great at that stuff too.
He really is. But the message of like, you're not done. You're just done for now. But there's an opportunity coming. And when that opportunity comes, it's not like anybody else has won those minutes just yet. And so
You will have another opportunity. Trust me.
And to be honest with you, was Vlatko, up questionable about, how the extent of that injury? Might be a lot of opportunity. Might be a lot of opportunity for Zeke Naji as well.
Until we trade for another backup center.
I'm just going to say this. I would buy some Dario Saric stock right now.
Sure.
Because it's so low.
Yeah.
Like I took a bath on my Dario stock early on.
You took the loss?
But I'm holding. I'm holding.
okay.
Diamond
You did-
hands
okay.
over
You're
here,
going to
man.
have to buy it off me when this is a common theme. This is why we did the Our Guys draft.
Oh, yeah.
That's why we did the Our Guys draft. Dario Saric on my board.
He's on your
Dyson
board.
Daniels on Wynn's board.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's
just-
my guy.
so
Sorry.
why
I
don't
can't
you
believe you just did
sorry.
that to stick it to
Stay
me.
on your own corner
Officially
over
my
there,
guy.
Mahrez.
Yeah. All right. Well, tell me, man, Dyson, man, what a pull.
Yeah. 5th round, too.
Josh
I know, it's
Barnett
crazy.
from Down
Crazy.
Under. He asks, how confident are you in your preseason predictions for Nuggets win total at this point? I like this question.
Great question, Josh
Kale,
from Down Under.
You have these ready to go? Let's take a look at them here real quick.
Of course he does.
2 seed 53 wins for Vote, 3 seed 52 wins for Mades, 3 seed 55 wins. 59 wins for Eric. By the way, I talked to him about this at the 5-game win streak. He was like, he's like, I think it's gonna be 60.
Yeah, he was upping it.
He actually went up. So he's feeling good about it. If he were here, I have a feeling. I don't know if he would say 59, but I think he is feeling really good about that. But let's start with you, Vote. 2 seed, 53 wins.
I think you and I kind of are in the right bracket right now. It was a long season, but to me, that's kind of how the West is shaking out. Like I think OKC, even with the injury, will probably win handedly the West, or just with a significant lead. 2 is going to be up for grabs, and I don't think it's going to be a team that wins 57. You know,
right.
Minnesota and Dallas will have to claw their way back there. They'll get there, but it's not going to be like a runaway, for them. It's not going to be the smoothest season, I don't think, for either of those two teams, in the same way that it hasn't been for Denver, right? So just to be clear, Phoenix, I think, is an obvious choice for a potential drop-off. And then
injuries.
Golden State looks awesome. And they might just look awesome all year. I don't think anyone was as bullish on them as they've looked so far. So we'll see if they can keep it up. But they've obviously earned the right to be in that conversation. I think 52 or 53 wins could get you a top 3 seed. And I think it's kind of the track that the Nuggets are on as they get Jokic back here.
Yeah, I might have been a bit overzealous on the win total, but I didn't factor in Jokic missing 3+ games for the birth of his child.
That'll hurt.
We don't know if that's what that is.
Right. And I should have factored that in because we knew it was coming. I didn't. That's my bad. But I like Vote's point that I still would pick the Thunder to win the West. But after that, man, it feels like there's a big tier of teams where nobody has really separated. And the Nuggets, I think, can eventually separate. But the Warriors, the Lakers, the Rockets, the Nuggets, the Suns, the Timberwolves, I'm not feeling like any of those teams are the clear-cut number 2 right now. I think Denver probably has the best chance to be that. But there's kind of like a big pack right there. So maybe, the win total for a 2 seed is a little less.
I'm feeling really good about my pick. I'm feeling really good about it because for all the reasons you guys said, I do think Oklahoma City has an inside path, although I think it's less so now with the Chet injury than it was ever before. They have a great coach and they have a lot of young players and a deep roster, so they can kind of survive some injuries. But when you start the season with a major injury, now you're only one other injury, but it's not like you're less likely to get injured going forward. You're the same likely to add another injury as any other team is. And so I look at that and I go, they now lost their margin for error. But if I were a betting man, I would say Oklahoma City still gets it.
Yep.
But when I look at it, where I'm different from you guys, I think we all more or less feel about Denver the way, the same way that they have this potential in them. They don't have that right now. They're going to have to work towards that, and that there's likely some extreme ups and downs. I actually think the last 8 games are going to be... the whole season is kind of what I expected from the Nuggets. After 4 games, we all felt horrible about our picks. We're like, this is team terrible. 5-game winning streak, we're like, there it is. That's the team we want.
Too low.
Then we go 1 and 2 of the next 3 because of jokes out, and we're like, are we terrible? Like, I think that's the Nuggets season, and I think that it's going to feel that way all the time, and everyone's going to claim victory multiple times throughout the year. They look good for 3-4 games in a row. There it is. I told you they'd be fine. They lose some. I told you this wasn't the team. I think that's it. Where I differ from you guys. I think the Lakers and Warriors are legit. I'm not saying they're legitimately better than Denver. And they have injury concerns that are on par, if not greater than Denver. But I watched the Lakers, man, unfortunately, and they desperately needed a shooter who could put an athletic player, a shooter, and somebody that could put the ball on the floor and attack closeouts. And they found it. And my guy, Dalton Connect,
he is officially your guy.
And they have some other pieces and stuff.
He's been great.
But I just look at the Lakers and I go, it's still LeBron and AD. LeBron, for some reason, is still playing at optimal peak performance. And those two just need a supporting cast, and they just needed 1 or 2 pieces. And I think they actually found a big one. I think they're good. I think the Lakers are just unironically a good team.
I can't believe this. I feel not that way at all. I mean, their benches, other than Dalton Connect, who had a good game, is a disaster. I mean, outside of him, they're still one Anthony Davis rolled ankle away from losing,
and it will come
5 or 10 games in a row. Like I'm actually not buying the Lakers at all. Especially D'Angelo Russell, like to the bench. I mean,
real quick, we got to go quick to break.
I'm just not there.
Warriors and Lakers to me are like Denver in that they are good sometimes, but they're going to be inconsistent, and one injury can throw it all off. But Denver can say the same thing.
100%. I would agree with that. Look, the Lakers, I think for a long time, even when they haven't been very good, at their peak could beat a lot of good teams. So I think they got better. I think they made a coaching upgrade. But they have the same big ifs, I think, in terms of durability and injury stuff.
52 and 3 seed feels perfect to me right now. I feel good about it. Although I hope I'm wrong because I want the Nuggets to reel off some wins. Let's take a break. We got more questions in the mailbag on the other side.
Shout out to Live Well. Live Well. They strive to make cannabis accessible to all because they believe everyone deserves to live well. A really cool thing about Live Well, 25 convenient Colorado dispensary locations.
I found them all, by the way.
You've been to all of them?
I have.
You've checked them all off the list?
Or
There's one in DTC right by where I live. 25 convenient Colorado dispensary locations with a premium selection and expert service that awaits you. Everybody at Live Well, super knowledgeable, supportive. They will help you out the second you walk into any Live Well. You can visit a Live Well dispensary to learn more about their wide selection of cannabis flower, edibles, concentrates, and much more. Live Well Dispensary, it's your top destination for the best product selection featuring all your favorite brands at unbeatable prices. They got the best stuff there, and they have a huge variety as well. All these great products can be found at any one of their 25 Live Well locations across Colorado, or you can browse and order ahead at livewell.com. When you mention the code DNVR25 in store, you're going to get 25% off. That's off one amazing product today. Restrictions do apply, but go into the Live Well, any of their 25 Colorado locations, mention the code DNVR25 in store. You're going to get 25% off one product today. Check them out. Like I said, 25 locations. They got award-winning lineup of products. Whatever you want, Live Well's got it.
There is a chance that you haven't planned on going to any Nuggets games recently, and all of a sudden you've changed your mind. And if you don't have tickets yet, you can get them when and if it's announced that a couple of key players are coming back, because you can always get the best seats at the best price, even at the last minute, when you're using Game Time. Game Time has a new feature called Game Time Picks. It's basically a filter that just saves you the stress, the mental stress. Have I done all the shopping and cross comparison I need to do here? Is this really the best price on the internet? Well, if it's in the Game Time Picks filter, then you know you've got a steal. It just filters out the fluff, so you only see their best deals. And I've used Game Time to get into games, concerts, comedy shows here in Denver. I recommend it, and I recommend using the code that I'm about to tell you about. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code DNVR for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code DNVR for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it, guys?
Game time.
It's game time.
That's correct.
All right, let's we have some breaking news, Kale.
What?
We have some breaking Denver Nuggets news.
We do?
It's kind of a big story. A lot of people are
Holy.
talking about it. Russell Westbrook's technical foul at 1:24 of the third quarter against Memphis has been rescinded upon league office review.
Oh, man.
This was the single... I'm going to use a superlative here, and people are going to think I'm going a little crazy. This was the worst technical foul I've ever seen in my life.
You're not going crazy. Not even a
He
little bit.
literally looked in the direction of the
So
player
soft.
while walking back or running back on defense. Did not say anything, makes a play, looks at him, walks back. Technical foul. It was absurd to get a tech for that.
It was crazy.
If this ends up costing us the cup,
The 1
the
point.
1 point,
What's our point differential at the cup, by the way?
I did it last night on the show.
You're
what was
not
it, Kel?
on this?
Plus
I expected
3.
you
It was
to be on this.
I think they lost by, I can't remember. It's +5 or something like that.
well, we're in the
It's a plus.
positives. We're still alive.
Russell Westbrook's coast-to-cost layup at the end of the game was actually incredible.
That was
And
big.
I mean, how about veteran headiness? Like the broadcast, our guy was who we loved. They're talking about how, well, he's earned the opportunity to go get an extra bucket. No, he knows about the scoring differential. And I just love the headiness. And you know what? It could end up mattering for Denver. And if I had
That would be so funny.
if I had to hand
The Nuggets are like, damn it.
it cost us $500,000 a player because you gave a tech for
We
guy
got to
looking.
fly to Vegas now? Ugh, get out the checkbook.
Russ is probably on the short list of players who love that rule the most. Just, I get to get extra buckets at the end of the game. Like, let's go, man.
Great
Let's
point
go,
by
dude.
D-Line in the comments. He clearly has some history with that ref. I'm not sure. Maybe.
Maybe. But again, it was a stare. I don't even think he was staring at the ref. He was staring at the play. What was the play? I'm blanking on the play right now. Do we remember what it was?
It was either a dunk or layup.
I can't remember.
I can't remember
It's
exactly
killing
what
me
it
that I don't
was.
remember. But I thought he was staring at the player. It's kind of like a hey,
Yeah, that was exactly it.
Do you know my rule? I think the NBA should allow 1 second of flex time. You should be able to scream whatever you want, flex, or hang on the rim for 1 second. And it should be a long second. It shouldn't be like, like we're going
That would be
shorter.
fun taking that to Secaucus to review.
How long, like, they
He
start
hung on
clock?
the rim for 1.3
Well,
seconds.
Sometimes guys are hanging on the rim for like 1 second and they let go and they're like, it was too long.
Yeah.
But the same thing, like, who was it the other day? Was it Anthony Edwards that had a dunk and was like, yeah? And they're like, tech. And I'm like, bro, that was like a literal emotional release after an awesome play. You get 1 second. Nobody's offended after 1 second.
No, and it's also because just the spirit of the game rules that are there are just, I got dunked on or whatever it was, they get to do this for 5 seconds.
Well, that game did get
Maybe it's 2 seconds. Maybe we can extend it to 2.
Yeah, we should up it to 2. Yeah.
All right, verbal for 2, physical for 2, verbal for 1. You can scream for 1 second, and you can stare or flex for 2 seconds.
It's there was Zach Collins embarrassing himself against MPJ. He didn't give him his second and a half after he got dunked on.
Yeah.
And he ran up on him.
Yeah.
And he got thrown out of
You're
the game.
right.
Yeah.
And that was more sad on him. Like, you can't take getting dunked on, bro. You can't take it.
By the way, someone, I think it was Kevy in the chat, called it a reputation type for us. And it got me thinking a lot about the Boogie era. Because every game, we would kind of have that conversation with him after the game, And I think I agreed with him maybe 20% of the time. Just about the reputation. I was like, I thought you earned that one. Kind of thought you earned that one, but I don't want to.
Boogie was the ultimate. Everybody's out to get me. I don't know what it is, man.
I'm like, yeah, I think everyone's right.
That game was a little chippy last night. And actually, it was kind of Vince Williams who I thought got Jamal going a little bit.
Ooh, I like this take.
There was some trash talk between them two.
Freaking Jamal really does need to bleed before he gets.
I've seen on social media that people are like, the Nuggets just need to hire an assistant to shit talk Jamal the whole game.
Or do you remember back in the day when the Nuggets weren't quite popular? It was like 2017, still on the come up. And it's common that arenas will do this. They'll hire a fake fan to get the crowd going. Do you guys remember this? Mm-hmm. There was a guy, his whole job was to be a fan, and he would run up and down the aisles and be like, come on, guys, come on. That's what they need. They need to hire a fake fan that's like, Jamal, you suck. And
I
he's like,
nominate our guy Vince.
I mean,
who starts every chant at the Nuggets.
For a week there, that was just the real Nuggets fans. So maybe that's part of what
did you see the guy who invented the wave was just on a podcast?
This is such an unverifiable.
Nobody invented the wave.
How do you know?
Because there's some things you just know.
Obviously, I'm going to outlive a lot of people because I walk so much, and I can't wait. I can't wait to just start making shit up.
Yeah, you know what I invented?
Dude, I came up with that.
I invented the alley-oop. Told me you should do it. I said, throw it up there, have them dunk it.
I gave Netflix the idea to start streaming. They were DVDs. People don't know this. They were DVDs.
Come full circle on the conversation. Back in the mailbag here, Derek Asura says, Adam, prior to the season, you expressed concern that this would not be a big PWAT development year. With AG's injury these last few weeks and PWAT starting, do you still feel that same way? Love the show, guys. This is a great one because my concern with Peyton Watson coming into the year was that I think he's going to be better with the ball in his hand to some degree. He's not, if you make him a spot-up shooter, I don't know if it's going to go well. It has less to do with the Aaron Gordon piece of this and more to do with what a great cutter he has been so far. That I actually think that there is, I think his development is coming along. He's had a very good, 6-7 games now. It's stringing them together. And I think that there are ways, last night he caught the ball off of a Jamal trap going downhill 4-on-3, made a misread, But to me, that's Peyton Watson, not the misread part, but giving him the opportunity to attack now, not just spot up, but now defense is shifted and you need to get to the paint and make passes because I think he has passing upside.
Yeah.
He probably needs to work on, but there's foundations in place for him to be good. And he's just athletic and long. Like he can get to the rim and make drop-off plays, kick-out plays. So I actually think that what I'm seeing from Peyton Watson this year, I think he's going to develop better than I was worried.
Oh, very encouraging where he's at now. I think we were all on the side of he's really going to struggle out the gate.
Yeah.
Just with the preseason injury, young guy, his spot in the rotation. Like that was written on the wall that he was going to struggle.
And the first 4 games, that was the script. He was a 3-point shooter.
Yeah, he was bad. What he's shown after that has been great. He's still got to slow down a tad, man. He had one play where he got, I think a defensive rebound. He tried to like dribble out of it, immediately turned it over. Just like stuff like that. If he just slowed down and just almost relaxed slightly, he'd clean up a lot of his mistakes, I feel like.
That's a lot of the value in these minutes, though. And in them, if you want to look at them as the silver lining minutes to the AJ injury, is I think he was even, I agree with you, I think he was even more sped up to start this, like running out of his shoes at times. And reps alongside Jokic, reps in a close game, reps in crunch time, which he got.
He's gotten a lot of those lately.
Dude, that kind of that's how the game slows. And that's how you stop, kind of coughing up all over yourself a little bit. So this was really good for Peyton. I was definitely on the side of I don't think he'll get his opportunity, and this ended up being it. So I really like the way he took advantage of it for sure.
I think he's developing nice, and I definitely feel good about where he's at right now.
Yeah.
I just was worried he was going to become a spot-up 3-point shooter that never plays with Yoke. That has not been the case so far, and as a result, his skill set is shining. And I do think the game naturally, like Julian, the game's too fast right now.
Yeah,
I just don't think you can replicate anything. You can't replicate game speed. You need reps, and those guys have elevated to a level where they can stumble through that, and they'll get better game by game, I think.
And I think if seeing it in this short period can give you hope that if that continues across 82 games, because the idea is that these guys grow into where they need to be, and we have seen growth.
I love this question from Matthew Kimura. He says, do you think... Oh, wait, did I skip one? You did. Okay, Noah Remillard here. Which rotation player is the least of a Jokic merchant? Who would you play closest to over their current level on another team? This one's a really interesting one.
I wonder if ironically, it's become Aaron Gordon. Because he started as such a hardcore Jokic unlocked everything.
I think there's 2 candidates. I think it's either Michael Porter or Christian Braun.
Christian Braun, one guy over the last 3 games. If you just looked at stats and didn't know Jokic didn't play, you'd be like, well, those are the same stats.
He's the same stats every night.
He's been pretty much the same player with or without Jokic this year.
It's a great point.
But Porter, I'm growing more and more confident that he could do this, especially what he did like last night, all the and ones in the paint. Like his game is just developing to a point where he could do this on other teams, I feel like.
Yeah, I mean, it's, don't you feel like, CB scored 15 points. Was it a day that ends in Y? I mean, is it even varied off that?
Yeah.
I know his
Not
average,
later,
right? But and kind of doing it the same way. I mean, thus far, pretty consistent overperformance from 3-point range on low volume. But he's such an animal in transition, man. Like he's going to find his 6 to 8 easy points every game.
Yeah.
And I think that you could plug into other environments as well. That's less contingent upon Jokic's greatness. Helps to have Jokic out there. But I could see Christian Braun being a factor in transition, in any environment.
Aaron Gordon could do it. He would just look like a completely different player. He'd look like Orlando Aaron Gordon.
Maybe. I don't know if he would revert to that, man. I honestly think Aaron Gordon came
maybe
here
at this point in his career. Probably.
Yeah, I just think that was a role that was kind of wasted upon him. But if he went to a terrible team, sure. You put him on the Utah Jazz, maybe he's not doing anything good. But if you put him on another team, I think he has learned a lot about the game and developed himself to be a guy that could figure out, the way Yoke does, can figure out how to mold his game into the texture of that team. I think Christian Braun's a good one, honestly. And what's crazy is I love him next to Yoke. Don't split him up. Play him together because I love it. At the same time, he kind of knows how to play now, and he knows how to fill in the gaps. And what a world. Christian Braun, the guy that we were like, least Jokic merchant.
Preseason doesn't matter at all.
And you mentioned Porter. Right. I mean, Porter had an absolute stinker in that second game and got deservingly benched.
Yeah.
Sneaky good in the other 2. I mean, they were both 1/2 performances, to be honest, but better at getting his own shot. The percentage of his points that are coming in the paint right now are the highest they've been in, I think, like 3 years.
Yeah, it was 100% last night.
And obviously it's because he's only shooting 38% right now, but the volume's up on 3, but he's playing so many minutes. The volume's up everywhere. He's actually getting less percentage of his points out of threes than the last 2 years. It does feel a little bit of Mike's kind of figured out, I can get open this way.
I'm 6'11".
I'm really tall.
Yeah.
And if I just cut hard here or crash here or whatever, I can pick up 10 easy points too. And that's what was so fun about the first half last night was he did it all in paint mode, really.
Yeah. All right, let's take a final break. On the other side, Christian Braun and where he ranks amongst shooting guards, and a couple more questions to round out the show.
Shout out to Miller Lite. It's Miller time on the DNVR Nuggets podcast. We love Miller Lite because it's the best light beer out there. A great taste, undebatable quality, and they've been doing it the same forever. Why would they change? They have a great recipe and they've stuck to it. Clean finish, great tasting. It's a light beer that actually tastes like beer. Miller Lite, they keep it simple, undebatable quality, great taste, only 96 calories as well. It's the beer that strips away everything you don't need and holds on to what matters most, a light beer that tastes like beer. Less filling, only 96 calories, and they've been doing it since 1975. It is the original light beer. A lot has changed over the years. A lot has changed. One thing that hasn't is the great taste of Miller Lite. The original light beer, and to this day, it is still the best one. Times change, but you can always enjoy the great taste of Miller Lite. Tastes like Miller time to get Miller Lite delivered right to your door. Visit MillerLite.com/DNVR, or you can find it pretty much anywhere that sells beer. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. 96 calories per 12 ounces.
It's getting awfully hard to save money right now. And Premier Members Credit Union, PMCU, they know that. Unlike big banks, PMCU is truly invested in its members and its communities. They're a financial institution based right here in Colorado. This is an organization that serves community, the Colorado community. It means local branches, friendly tellers, and the tools you need to save smarter, like a reverse tier money market, the account you need to get ahead and stay ahead in this economy. Check out Premier Member Credit Union's reverse tier money market. It's a game changer for your finance and your life. So why not see what they can do for you? Check out becomepremier.com for the link in our show notes to learn more.
All right, we are back. Final segment here. We got 3 to race through. Matthew Camara asked, do you think Jamal would have had a major leap if Jokic didn't play for an entire year? Kind of like how when Jamal was out for a whole year, Jokic took a massive leap. I like this question. We've talked about this a lot with Michael Porter, how that was the year I thought Michael Porter was really going to become a well-rounded player, and then he got hurt. But in reverse, interesting. If it was Murray was forced to carry this team for a long time, I think yes. At this age, maybe not anymore. Maybe not at this age, but...
Yes, but not to the degree that Jokic took the leap. Probably not even close.
I mean...
I also just wonder if Murray could hold up for a full year being the number one option. It's a lot, man. I mean, going from being the number 2 guy to being the guy everybody tries to shut down every night. You're number 1 on the scouting report.
You know what's interesting when a guy misses, and this happened in the Murray year, like Jokic's out right now, but we know he's there, so the team's not different. You're just holding the rope. When Murray was out, it was like he's out. It was almost like he didn't exist. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's like it's out of your mind. So if Jokic was out, Murray at that moment is the team's leader and best player. And I do wonder if, in a weird way, Jokic being there, he's less aware of his responsibility to the team. And if Jokic was gone for an entire season, it's like, all right, we're on a 4-game losing streak. This is my fault. I'm the leader.
You're also going to change up a lot of things about your scheme, your strategy on offense. You know, and this interim period without Jokic, they're kind of just improvising.
Yeah.
Yeah, and look, you would definitely see some incremental improvements, but I also think Murray's had a lot of stabs at the non-Jokic minutes over the years. And, you know, just before this last game happened, we were lamenting the lack of growth in those minutes from just about everyone. Obviously, they could be better than they were in those 2 games. Obviously, if they had to play a whole season without Jokic, they would get better at it. But I think it's just, they probably not. You know, I don't think any of these guys are guys who carry teams by themselves, but they were built around someone who does. And, you know, the most important questions are about how they fit when he's out there.
The next one here from Alex Crook. Where do you think CB ranks among the league's starting shooting guards? I think he's comfortably finishes the season top 15. Preseason, I saw an article with him at 28th. Honestly, man, we'd have to go through the list. Win, do you put a list together?
It wasn't me, but we do have a list, courtesy of our friends at Hoops Hype.
Let's go through it here. Hoops Hype has a ranking of the best shooting guards.
And this was entering the season, I believe.
Okay, so Anthony Edwards, number 1. He's better than Christian Brown.
He is better than Christian Brown,
Let's scroll through this here, Kale. Let's just kind of go through. Devin Booker's better than Christian Brown.
Yeah, I'd say better for sure.
Okay.
Number 3, Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah, he's better. I think he's better than Devin Booker right now. He might be up that list a little.
Jaylen Brown. How is he a shooting guard?
Well, you're right. They have freaking Derek White and Drew Holiday. What is he? Yeah, that doesn't make sense. Drew Holiday, the small forward, whatever. Doesn't matter.
We could be at 4 still.
Jalen Williams, a small forward. All right, this is how the list goes. There's no positions in basketball.
But Jalen Williams does start at. Oh no, Lou Dort starts.
Yeah, it's a weird list, but we'll give it. All right, Desmond Bain. I don't know. We watched a game where those guys went head to head last night.
Bain might be plateauing a bit.
He had a big game last night.
The negative wingspan's catching up to him.
Are the Grizzlies just jaw merchants? Just kidding.
Taylor Jenkins Merkits. Honest question though, real quick. Desmond Bain. If you polled at 30 GMs, I think all 30 would take Desmond Bain.
Yes.
But the truth is, if you're building a contender, I like Desmond Bain. I think he's great, but he's probably the running mate to a star. And if you want a running mate to the star, don't you want a guy that's a lockdown defender that fills in the gaps?
Yeah.
So it's weird to say better, but to be honest, like this one is one that I would put. There's like if we're putting a box of clearly this guy's better than Christian Brown. Bain would be in the one where I'm like open to interpretation. How you interpret this?
Exactly, and also what type of team you're on too. Are you on the Nuggets? Like you would rather Christian Brown, I feel like, on the Nuggets.
Yeah.
But if you're on, a team that maybe doesn't have that second star, maybe it's Bain.
Bain's really good though.
Yeah,
I mean, he is a really good player.
Bain has a much higher ceiling, like offensively. Just as I think the whole profile. I actually think as good as Christian is, he's one of those guys that came out of the package relatively close to how good he can be. I think Bain has, just can do more, can produce more offensively in general. I think in the average environment. But to your point, Christian Brown, I think we talked about, can he just announce himself? Can he make his presence known in the NBA? He has. Yeah. This is not a guy that's, oh man, he's going to play 4 minutes alongside Jokic. We'll see how it goes. I mean, if you're playing the Denver Nuggets, you need to know about Christian Brown. Yeah. And I think fans are learning about Christian Brown.
So this one's at least ambiguous. Where else are we at here? Zach LaVine, I mean, again, he's better than
he's better than
but
Christian
he's also
Brown.
A point guard. This one's a little weird. All right.
Really? Point guard?
Well, I mean, pick and roll point. Austin Reeves. I like this one.
I would take Christian Brown.
You would take Christian Brown over Austin Reeves? Yeah. Man, I don't know. This is like offense defense. Huh? It's just like they're almost like.
I mean, who contributes more to winning basketball?
Austin Reeves is good, man. He's a good player. They both contribute to winning.
Lakers lover over here, man.
It sucks, man. I'm in hell over here. Jalen Green. All right, now we're in the point where it's like,
Christian
what are we doing? Yeah, come on. What are we doing? Keep going here. As I want to see like how many of these names. Tyler Hero, he's by the way on fire right now. Have you seen him? Yeah, he's shooting like 9 a game and shooting 40.
I don't watch option right now.
Yeah, he is. And he has, I swear to God.
Although I have been hate watching the 76ers, so I have.
He has like even more pep in his step, that annoying swagger to him. It's like it's on all-time levels this year. It's actually kind of amazing.
His stock has taken a huge hit, though.
Yeah, he's playing great ball right now. Who else we got? CJ McCollum. Like, McCollum's in the Bane category to me, where I'm like, these guys are really good, but they're not quite good enough to take on the role that they're best at. Give the ball to them and get points. So you have to have a team. You're like using resources on those guys, but so CJ McCollum is the ultimate of that guy to me. He's really good, just not quite good enough for you to build your team around him.
Yeah, I mean, especially at this age.
Yeah, I mean,
Bradley Beal number 12.
These are all
Bradley Beal's good, man. He's freaking good.
These are all guys that would.
Don't you just forget about Beal?
All the time.
Like that he actually exists.
All the time. These are all guys that would beat Christian
might have forgotten about him too.
In an open gym environment, and it like wouldn't be close, and they would all look like more dynamic players. But
actual basketball.
I want to just filling the role Christian's in right now. I think only a handful of them you'd rather have, actually.
Devin Vassell was number 13. All right, we're now getting into the range where I think it's pretty comfortable. Malik Monk's pretty freaking good, but it's kind of a different role.
The opposite of Christian Braun.
What we're learning is that all these guys, after the top handful of superstars, they're all almost specialists in a weird way.
Yeah, it's about situation and the team they're on.
And we value offense more than defense, and so Christian's always going to be like, if you're talking to the average NBA fan, they're always going to rank below him. But when we talk about roster construction, if you swap Christian Braun with Malik Monk right now, it'd be like, who are we guarding? The Nuggets guarding anyone?
And just give it a little time, and eventually it's all of a sudden... Even the stats in front of us already. I mean, he averages 16 points a game. Like he's not a dud offensively.
Last question, and this one comes to us from AM in Broomfield. He says, what should we make of Jalen Pickett averaging a triple-double in the G League?
Who submitted this question?
Someone in Broomfield.
I think it gives you a really good insight into just how... First of all, that there are levels to professional basketball,
The G League is really not. It's like a 12 levels below NBA.
Even though it's actually only just kind of like a little bit below.
Yeah.
Because everyone's a little bit below. It's a completely different level, but also circumstance and confidence and how all that stuff scales. I mean, Pickett, with an offense that was built around him, with a roster that made sense around him, was a very, very, very good player at D1 in college, which very few people...
He's going to be one of like 5 players, 5 All-Americans over the last 20 years not to get a second contract. It almost never happens if you're an All-American.
And I think in the G League, where they're letting him be Jalen Pickett, it's going to happen. But it almost reminds, they are different players. It almost reminds me of the Facu thing. You get all the way to the NBA, and it's, why am I going to build an offense or a roster around you? And if you're not going to get that, you're probably not going to thrive. And so for me, it's just, I think Jalen could look really good in the G League for his entire career. He might also never look anything close to that in the NBA.
Here's my thing. Here's my thought on it. I have 2 thoughts. The G League is clearly bad, and people put up monster numbers. But 29, 11, and 9, people don't put that up. So even if you're just rating this on a scale, 29, 11, and 9 is an insane number. It shows that even relative to scale, he has something about him that is impressive, his ability to run a team. Yep. And that might not translate to the NBA. He clearly hasn't looked at. I actually have 3 things. Number 2, I did watch some of the highlights of this. What blows my mind when I watch it, how much he's smiling, how much he's talking, how much the guys are like. It's like he's one of the guys there.
Yeah.
He comes to the Nuggets, and it's almost like he's got the weirdest,
like
everyone
guy.
hates him, get this guy out of here. And so there's something to it. I almost am happy for him because there is this camaraderie that he almost seems to be getting back to him. But number 3, and I haven't watched these games, but what I suspect is Trey Alexander played last night. He's not in the G League. They put him down there. I think the Nuggets have given up on Jalen Pickett, rightfully so. But I also wonder if they look at this and go, you know what? The best way we can trade him? Win G League Player of the Week a couple times and average a 30-point triple-double. Is that a way you can get a team to be like, look, man, Mo didn't like him, didn't really have a role on the team, didn't fit what we were trying to do, but the guy has some talent. I mean, 29, 11, and 9, and some teams like, all right, we'll take him.
Yeah, that, and then, just plant some stories with the local media, hype him up a little bit.
Like what?
Well, he's, did you hear he cleaned up the gym after practice?
I didn't hear this.
You didn't hear that?
No. Did you report this?
This is coming out of Grand Rapids.
Really? Cleaned up the gym after practice?
He mopped the floors.
Is this a true thing?
No. Adam fell hook, line, and sinker for a bit that he was told was coming.
I didn't know that.
You know in high school when you sweep the floor, he was doing that.
He was doing it
before and after each practice.
I think there's something to a guy averaging 29, 11. If you're like, you can keep this up for a while, and you're like, I don't know, we just gave him 12 games in the G League, and he's averaging a 30-point triple-double.
Yeah.
It turns heads at least a little bit.
It does. I mean, averaging a triple-double in the G League will turn heads. Absolutely.
Look, 3-1 record. Game winner in the corner from 3.
The game winner.
Triple-double average.
I would do a little more media focused on that. Just a suggestion.
There are also a lot of guys who are going to produce in the NBA in the way Jalen Pickett never will that won't put up those numbers if they spend time in the G League. But again, it almost reminds me of the Christian Braun conversation we were just having. Yeah. Like, he is a point guard built to have the ball in his hands and to make a certain offense work. And that's you just scale all the way up to the NBA, and it's, yo, man, the ball is actually in Jamal's hands or Russ's hands or Jokic's hands. And so we're not going to build anything around you. But, there was a reason that Jalen Pickett succeeded to the extent he did in college. He doesn't actually suck at basketball, but he doesn't. He's probably not going to make it in the
Not
NBA.
easy to become an all-American player. Like he has a talent. Does it translate to the NBA? Maybe not. I mean, that certainly doesn't look like it. But it is nice that Nuggets can kind of polish this for the moment and see if anybody's going to bite, having him kind of play his game here. So,
What do you think Zeke Naji would put up stat-wise in the G League?
not 29, 11, and 9.
Would he put up 30 on 90%
Well,
shooting?
here's the thing, man. You know who's performed well? Torrey Craig. Turns out he's an NBA player. Remember Jay Huff going down there? Our homie from Grand Rapids is like, that guy's awesome. I don't know what you guys talking about. Turns out that was right.
Jay Huff won G League Defensive Player of the Year before he arrived in Denver.
So there you go. Like there are some things here where I'm with you guys. I'm not just. I've given up on Jalen Pickett. I think he was cooked the very first summer he was here. To be honest with you, I think he was cooked. But I think that if you just hope about how do you get rid of this guy, you either buy him out or you find someone that's willing just to take a little bit of a flyer on him. And the best hope you can have for that is not going to be game reps because he's not going to ever play again.
Right.
It's go to the G League and put up some crazy numbers. Check.
And so the most beneficial thing the Nuggets G League program could do for the team right now. Throw everything at
through
inflating
him.
his
And he
confidence,
kind of
his
is.
stats. Yeah.
He's playing booty ball, man. 8 dribbles into the post.
And he can do that.
well, I don't know if that's the best way to show off his game to other
You
teams.
just need the numbers. You just need the numbers.
Don't watch the film. We'll just send you the box score.
All right, Kale, we have some super chats, I'm told. 20 piece.
It's been a good show, guys.
Look
20
at
piece
this.
from Chris Peters. D-Line called me out for only giving $5 last night after winning big. So here you go. Wow, thank you so much.
Is it that easy, Chris?
Yeah, we appreciated the
Chris
$5
only
too.
gave $20.
Only
man.
$20, guys. Unbelievable. I look forward to his next one. Also, yes, Adam, I bet on MPJ assists last night. Took the under on his threes and then took his Murray and Watson points.
By the way, I was the one telling you he's going to get the assist.
Yeah,
Dev told you to take the under.
that
I was
was a
like, I don't
misstep
know,
by
man. He's
Dev.
slinging
A
that
rare
thing.
Man,
misstep.
that left-handed slinger.
Woo.
Yeah.
Michael Passer Jr. Mr. Exquisite Nugget CB for MIP. Jokic, 4th MVP. Win. You the realist, my G. That all rhymed. I appreciated it. Nash, Sweden. Why is Huff in Memphis and Vlaco still in Denver?
But why do people hate Vlaco, man? I don't get
know.
it. I mean, Vlaco is Yoke's best friend, guys. I mean, come on.
And he's actually
And he's
decent.
actually good. Yep. The worst part was Vlaco was awesome last night in his 12 minutes or whatever it was. I was like, hell yeah, this is the Vlaco breakout game.
But you know what? They missed on J. Huff. Malone didn't play him very much. They let him be a G League guy, and now he's producing somewhere else. That happens sometimes. Lumi, Christian Brown's ceiling is still higher than people are imagining, and it's promising that Jokic's absence didn't expose him as a merchant. He's a genuine candidate for MIP and will be number 3 on Gobert. And will number 3
And
on
he
Gobert?
will number 3 on them.
Is that dunk
He
number
has
3?
2 posters on
Yeah,
Gobert.
yeah.
He does?
Yeah.
He does.
Oh, I thought it was like.
I thought that didn't want to say
Number
what I.
one,
Yeah,
then number
that
2.
too. And I was like
secret
number
third
3.
thing?
What's
yeah.
number 3?
A
Well,
secret
you can
gross
figure it out.
third
Yeah, let's just keep going. That's what I thought. Maybe it is what he meant.
Diz, non-ironic Pickett shout out,
Hell
please.
yeah, man.
Hey, you got it.
I'm telling you guys, I honestly think nobody has had a worse 2 years of life than Jalen Pickett. I think he's been miserable. I'm happy. I'm honestly happy for him that he gets to enjoy. But I think he hates basketball.
I think you're back in.
I'm not back in.
I think you're almost back in.
I'm not back in, but I am telling you that I am happy for a guy because it sucks to be on the outs of anything for so long. And I think he's been on the outs. And it's probably cool for him to be like, you know what? I don't suck at this game.
Imagine if I had just every day I did this show and it was clear you guys hated me.
Yeah.
You
And then
know?
you went to another show and they were like, dude, you're the best.
Yeah. Hey,
Literally
do you
the
wanna-
entire best.
Do you want to host today? Hashtag shut up and take my money. Hashtag hot take, please rate Jamal All-Star. Very hot. The hottest possible take.
20.
Not plus MVP without Jokic. What? MVP?
Brother,
No
I don't
way.
even understand what you're
Don't have
saying.
enough
No.
numbers for that.
He
All
would
right.
not be the MVP without Jokic, but I appreciate your confidence.
We're off tomorrow, but Miroslav is going to have a Serbian corner tomorrow with very special guest Dan Favale, so that'll be a great one. And then also, we'll have the All-NBA show with Legler in studio tomorrow. I might have a Nuggets player on that one. I might not. We'll see what happens. if it works
Legler
out.
in the DNVR bar.
In the DNVR bar, baby, man.
What a
Two
dream.
times. He's going to be here. He's calling the Nuggets game on Friday. Can't wait for that. Hit that like button on the way out. We'll see you.
We all silly like the mayor.